What's going on, y'all? Ed Boogie here. I want to give a quick update on the Carolina Panthers free agency news. Just found out that we signed Mike Adams from the Indianapolis Colts to play strong safety, and we also signed defensive end Julius Peppers to come back. Peppers, who hasn't been here since 2009. Uh, it's not. I'm okay with both these additions. Julius Peppers is a guy who I wasn't very big on. I'm not a very big fan of him, and the reason being is because I felt like he never gave much effort. That was always my biggest gripe about him, is that in one game he would have basically Hall of Fame like numbers. He would have like 3 tackles, a sack, a forced fumble, an interception, and a blocked field goal, and then he'll go like 3 games where he has like 1 tackle. That has always been my biggest complaint about him, is his effort, and I just feel like he could be so much more if he just actually gave 100% every down. With that said, I know that he is a freakish athlete, and we at least know, at least the Panther fans that have been, you know, real Panther fans for years, we at least know what we're getting out of Julius Peppers. With that said, it was a 1 year deal worth $3.5 million. Um, I think that's an adequate deal. It's not like the Jared Allen special, as Pat Coltrane would put it, but it's not an obscene amount either. So I think it, it it's enough money to satisfy what he's looking for, and obviously he's going to retire as a Panther, but at the same time, it's not a huge strain on our salary cap either. So it's a win-win on both sides. As for Mike Adams had 12 interceptions the past 3 seasons combined, which is pretty good considering that he was playing for a Colts team that isn't really known for their defense. They're not known to be a smash mouth defense like the Panthers. The Panthers have been a top 10 defense stemming back to 2012. So what's that? 12, 13, 14, 15. It's 5 years in a row that we've had a top 10 defense. So I really feel like his production is only going to go up, despite his age. I mean, you can talk about age concerns all you want, but the man has played. He's been very durable, and he's been a bit of a ball hawk. Again, on a sorry defense. So what do you think is going to happen when all of a sudden he has that front seven? He actually has a legit front seven in front of him. I think he's going to thrive even more, much as Mike Mitchell did, much as Kurt Coleman. But both of those guys thrived, and neither one of them were really anything to speak of. Mike Adams actually has a proven career as a starter. Those 2 guys that I just mentioned, they were essentially backups before they came here. So, if anything, Carolina is kind of notorious for bringing in those kind of underrated gems and turning them into something. With that said, I don't know what the contract terms are for Mike Adams, but with that in mind, I don't think it's gonna be that bad of a deal. I think it's gonna be a preferable deal for both sides. I do know it's a 2 year deal, but I'll be curious to know just how much money is involved. Now, I think that's. Oh yeah. Also, we made a trade for New England's second round pick. Now, I haven't said this outwardly on camera, but I was hoping that we would make a deal with New England or some team that's picking late in the first round. I was personally hoping that maybe we could use Kelvin Benjamin as trade bait, and trade him and our second round pick in order to get into the the latter end of the first round. That's what I was hoping for. We didn't quite do that, but what we did end up doing is trading our third round pick, pick number 72, to get into the end of the second round, pick number 64. And we also gave away Coney Ealy as part of the deal as well. I don't, you know, I'm okay with the deal. Coney Ealy was a backup here. He was a serviceable backup. He did a relatively good job, and he's a guy that I thought had a good motor. He a lot of effort. He's a guy that I wanted to keep. However, he's not a game changer. So it's not like as Pat Coltrane was talking about in his video, it's not like Bill Belichick finessed us or whatever. I don't feel like either side is really getting screwed over in this deal. I think it's a fair deal for both sides. Because New England gets to pick fairly early in the third round, whereas we're getting the second round pick, and they're also getting a backup defensive end. So it's not, it's fine for both sides. Now, what we do with the second round pick and what they do with their third round pick, that's what really matters. Because ultimately, we don't know what kind of player we're gonna be getting. Are we gonna do like we did several years ago, where we traded up to get Armani Edwards? We traded away a whole bunch of stuff just to get him, who didn't even do anything. We did now, to be fair to Armani Edwards, I mean, he was the guy who had a lot of talent, I thought, but we didn't use him right. We used him as a wide receiver, and I didn't feel like he was fast enough. Nonetheless, I'll leave that in the past. Have enough PTSD about those years. But anyway, going back to this deal, I feel like, moving up back into the second round, this will give us a chance to address our defensive backfield, or perhaps our offensive defensive line, or even running back. Not to mention, we also have need at tight end too, because Greg Olsen is getting a little older, and it would certainly be nice to find a complement to Greg Olsen. You remember how good the chemistry was with Cam Newton, throwing the ball to Jeremy Shockey and Greg Olsen in his rookie season. It'd be great if we can get a receiving tight end as good as Jeremy Shockey. That would be great. So I think all of those positions would be possibilities in the second round. Tight end, running back, defensive back, or offensive or defensive line. But with that said, that was all the deals for today. As for yesterday, March 9th, we lost Ted Ginn, unfortunately, and AJ Klein. Unlike Pat Coltrane, I do think it's a fairly big deal to lose Ted Ginn. Ted Ginn is a guy who didn't really do anything with Arizona or San Francisco, but he always seemed to make our team better. And I know people are very quick to bring up the fact that he has no hands, so to speak. But if you just go to do me a favor, go to the NFL's YouTube page and type in Carolina Panthers top 10 plays, and you let me know how many different plays Ted Ginn is in that top 10. I guarantee you it's at least 3, if not 4 times that he was in that top 10 playlist. I mean, the guy can ball. I mean, there's no denying that. I don't think he's ever really going to be a 1,000-yard receiver, but I do think, being that he's actually going to play with a Hall of Fame quarterback who always makes his receivers look better, I do think he's gonna do some damage this year, and that includes us. And I can't believe we're gonna have to deal with Deshaun Jackson and Ted Ginn this year. Both of them are gonna hurt us to some degree or another. I guarantee it. Um, but anyway, just to get back to what I was talking about, I do think that Ted Ginn is going to produce, especially with someone as accurate and deadly as Drew Brees, as as his quarterback. I definitely think that we're going to have problems. But with that said, uh, I feel pretty good about this free agency period. Um, Losing AJ Klein is not as big of a deal because when we have Shaq Thompson, Luke Kuechly, and Thomas Davis, I mean, we're going to be okay. But with that said, he's still one of those guys that I would prefer to have on our team than against us. Any other deals? Oh yes, we signed Matt Kalil. That was a deal that a lot of Panther fans are not very happy about. But I would just like to remind those fans where we were a few years ago with Byron Bell and Nate Chandler. Um, Despite how much money we invested into Matt Kalil, I would take that injury risk with Matt Kalil any day than going back to those days of Byron Bell and Nate Chandler any day. And the reason being is because Matt Kalil he has more talent. Nate Chandler isn't even a real offensive lineman. He's a defensive lineman that was converted to to the offensive line. So Matt Kalil, he has more talent. He has a higher ceiling, and he's only 27. He's a year younger than I am. So, I mean, I think this is gonna work out really well for the Panthers as long as he can stay healthy. That's gonna be the key. And as far as Mike Remmers goes, we lost him to the Minnesota Vikings. I say sayonara because I didn't like Mike false start Remmers, because as I said in my previous video, he was good for at least one costly penalty every single game, every single one. So I'm glad to see him go, and it's not like I hate him or anything. I mean, he was ultimately better than Nate Chandler, but I think I feel pretty good. I feel pretty damn good about Matt Kalil and Darrell Williams playing offensive tackle for us. And of course, we're not done. That's the thing to remember, guys. We are not done addressing the offensive tackle position. We're gonna address it, and we're gonna be fine. I feel that we're definitely moving in the right direction with our offensive line. But yeah, that's my thoughts for now. I'm As far as other free agency moves that I would like to see us make, I hear a lot of Panther fans talking about Victor Cruz. I would like to see us get a wide receiver. Because I'm not satisfied with what we have. I don't like Kelvin Benjamin. I think he commits too many penalties, and he drops too many easy to intermediate shit. So, I frankly don't want him on our team. I'm just gonna be blunt about it. But other than that, I think we're moving in the right direction for the most part. I do think we need to also address cornerback and probably running back as well. But that's my thoughts for now, and I thank you for watching, and I'll be back soon. Peace.